Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my second pregnancy update of my third pregnancy. That's kind of a mouthful, but I'm on my third pregnancy. If you're new here, please subscribe. I would love to have you as a part of our family. We have two little girls already. Skyla is 2.5 and Adeline is 13 months, and I try to get videos up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm pregnant with my third baby right now, and I'm 9.5 weeks pregnant, so I'm just about 2 months pregnant. With my first pregnancy, I did weekly pregnancy updates. That's what I started my channel with, was doing a pregnancy update every single week. With my second pregnancy, I did them as often as I could, but already having one little baby running around to take care of it was harder. And with this pregnancy, I'm doing monthly pregnancy updates, so there should be 9 of these. So the main symptom that's been the hardest, absolute hardest for me to get through was something that I also experienced with Adeline, and I don't know if I talked about this in my updates with my last pregnancy, my second pregnancy. I may have had this with Skyla, but I didn't start doing, Skyla's my first child if you're new here. I didn't start updates with my first pregnancy until I was 8 weeks pregnant, and this symptom that I'm about to share with you started for me at least this time and my time with Adeline. It may have been like this with my first two. It's just been so long I don't remember. My memory is awful. But at 6 weeks pregnant, my anxiety was at an all-time high. I think the surge of hormones that happens, I feel like there has to be some sort of hormone surge around the 6-week mark, because my anxiety was through the roof for about a week and a half. It got better around 7.5 weeks, and then between 8 weeks it was a little better but still there, and I haven't felt actual relief from this anxiety until I turned about 9 weeks pregnant, and I'm I'll be 10 weeks pregnant tomorrow. So it's kind of just now started to subside around 9 weeks, but I have to tell you guys, there was a week and a half there where every single thing would just give me immense anxiety. Little things that would pop into my head, I would just dwell on them and I couldn't let go of them, and I would worry so much about little things that in a normal non-pregnant me would not dwell on and not worry about. I can just go about my day and handle little worries that everyone has that come up through the day. I could just brush them off like anyone else could. But with that hormone surge, guys, it was almost impossible. And I do struggle with insomnia, and through like in between like 6 and 8 weeks pregnant there, I was barely sleeping. I don't know anyone who has struggled with early pregnancy anxiety. I found a couple articles online, but I really couldn't find anybody who I could really like fully relate to. And I've asked my friends, and I don't think that I really know anyone who's had it as severe. But I guess if you're going through that, if you're having that type of anxiety, first of all, you should definitely tell your doctor. But second of all, you're not alone, because I did find articles and I did find other people who did experience that. And I think that's the main point that I want to get across in this video, because I felt so alone, like I was the only one who had ever felt that way. And you're just not alone. This pregnancy, my nausea has been worse than both of my other 2 pregnancies. I had some nausea with Skyla and some nausea with Adeline. The worst nausea I had with Adeline, I was in Italy when I had it, and I threw up. I haven't thrown up this time, but I have felt, well, I threw up in my pregnancy with Adeline, but it's because I got a stomach bug and it was horrendous. But with this pregnancy, it's like I get really nauseous first thing in the morning, and then sometimes it comes like in the afternoon. Yesterday in the middle of the day, it was like 2:30. It came on so strong, and it was like everything got so dizzy, and I felt like I was like, I don't know, a passenger in a car like reading a book or something. It felt like motion sickness, but it was just random in the middle of the day. And then I get it in the evening too, and it's just much more intense than it was with my first 2 pregnancies. Nightmares. So I haven't had a lot of nightmares, but in the very beginning, I guess not in the beginning, but in that 6 to 8 week span when I was having a lot of anxiety, I was also having a lot of nightmares. Since I turned about 8 weeks, they've really subsided, but I don't know what it is about that 6 to 8 week period for me that's so hard. but the nightmares were really intense. I've got my best friend here, my pink drink. It's so good. Exhaustion. I think the exhaustion was the worst around 7 weeks. I think the 7 weeks was when my exhaustion was so hard with Adeline too. I think I remember it just being so hard. And with the exhaustion that I've had, I feel great this week. Since I turned around 9 weeks, I felt so much better. Still super tired and not really my full self. But around 7 weeks, like that whole week, it was a struggle for me to just like get up. And I remember, because I have a 13-month-old and she's big and she doesn't walk yet. So I have to still carry her up and down the stairs in my house. And I remember being so out of breath and just so tired that week, just with the simplest things. Everything would just to completely drain me of energy. And I think my energy is slowly starting to come back, but I really don't want to jinx it. But there was a period there where I was getting absolutely nothing done. So I always write down the symptoms in my phone. So if you guys see me looking down at my phone, I have a list of everything I was going through since about 6 weeks. Headaches. So in my pregnancy, with my first 2 pregnancies, I had headaches a lot and they were pretty bad. But with this pregnancy, I have had headaches, but those were more around the 7-week mark, 6 or 7 week mark, the headaches. But this week and maybe since about week 8, I haven't been having them. So I hope that maybe the headaches aren't going to be as bad as they were with my other daughters. I'm definitely having food aversions and cravings. With aversions, I can't think of like a specific thing that I feel sick smelling or thinking of eating, but I definitely avoid food with a passion more than usual. I'm usually not a picky eater at all, but when I'm pregnant, I definitely have aversions. And the cravings are so strong and so real. I swear to you, when you're pregnant, food tastes so much better. I don't know why, but food just tastes, it's like euphoric to eat. And I know I'm going to gain a lot of weight this pregnancy because I'm not working out. I'm not tracking my intake. I was tracking macros in my second pregnancy. For those of you who are new here, with my first pregnancy, I gained about in between 60 and 70 pounds, and I felt so miserable. I was exhausted and sick and depressed, actually. I felt like I did not feel good as a whole. It was just a bad situation for me. With my second pregnancy, I was determined to not feel that way ever again in my life. And I was tracking macros. I was working out like 5 days a week, and I was seriously killing it. And this pregnancy, I'm kind of just going with the flow, and I'm not liking how that's going. I mean, I know I need to get on to the fit health bandwagon again, but right now I'm eating whatever I want. And so we'll talk about some of the cravings that I've had. Bean and cheese tacos. That was a craving with all 3 of my kids. Bean and cheese tacos with salsa. I can't get enough of it. Taco Cabana makes great ones. Early on in my pregnancy, I liked the ones from Taco Bell, but now the thought of Taco Bell makes me nauseous now. But Taco Cabana is so good. Mexican food, spicy foods, any kind of salsa, spicy or salty food. And a lot of people say that means you're having a boy, but it's not necessarily true because I had those cravings immediately with my first 2 daughters as well, and they're girls. As far as sweets and stuff, I craved milkshakes a little bit around the 7-week mark. I was eating a lot of ice cream and milkshakes, but that craving went away. And now I'm craving Warheads. My mouth is watering just talking about Warheads, but I love Warheads, Sour Patch Kids, and the pink strawberry sour straws, so good. I can't get enough of any sour candy. Salada, one of my absolute favorites. Masala Wok, I haven't been able to have it because it's so far away from me, but Masala Wok is an Indian and Asian food fusion, and it's not fast food, but it's not a restaurant. It's like an in-between, like a Chipotle type. And in Katy, when I lived in Katy, Texas, suburb of Houston, there was one about 15 minutes from my house, and I went there multiple times a week. It was everything. Pink drinks from Starbucks, because I haven't really been craving my normal coconut milk lattes. Yesterday, I got a vanilla bean coconut milk macchiato with only 1 scoop of the vanilla bean because they make everything way too sweet. This is honestly too sweet, but there's no way to tone down the sweetness. And I drank like half of it. It was really good, but the taste and smell of coffee ever since I was around 7 weeks or so, just not it. So I've been doing pink drinks. And then my final craving is Chipotle. Chipotle tacos, barbacoa, fully loaded with guac on the side. And I love the Chipotle, I'm getting hungry now. I love the Chipotle Tabasco sauce. Oh my gosh, guys. Yes. I've been taking my daughters who were 2.5 and 13 months with me to Chipotle and just like getting them a meal and sitting there by myself with my babies, which is really hard to do. It's not an easy task, but that's how bad I want these tacos. I wrote down that I've been feeling unmotivated, and what I mean by unmotivated is just that prior to getting pregnant, I really had a high drive to get things done. And whether that be making sure I get Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos up, or just making sure that my car is cleaned out, or the laundry is done, or the house doesn't become a wreck, or the dishes don't pile up in the sink. I was feeling very motivated. Once I got pregnant, my motivation just like crashed. So I'll tell you guys about my first appointment, and I have the ultrasound pictures. I posted, you can actually see the ultrasound pictures on my Instagram account, which is just at Aaryn_Williams. It's in the description bar below. But I posted a picture of my first ultrasound picture, and I have a story highlight on my Instagram where you can see everything that I've posted on Instagram on my story underneath that highlight. So that'll show you pretty much, I mean, not everything, because sometimes I forget to save things to my highlight, but a lot of information is on there about the pregnancy, and I update it a lot, I think. But the heart rate was 145. I think with Skyla, hers was like in the 160s or higher. And with Adeline, I don't remember. I think Adeline was in the 160s too, or I don't know. I could be wrong there. I don't really remember. It's like awful. But it was amazing to see the heartbeat. I didn't get to hear it, but I got to see it. And it was amazing to see a healthy pregnancy. I did see that I had the ultrasound tech called it an implantation bleed. And I didn't get to see my OB that day because she was in a delivery. So after my ultrasound, I got to see another OB. So I saw someone else who was just gonna fill in for her while my OB was in delivery. So I was able to ask her all my questions, but she didn't look over my ultrasound, I don't think. Or if she did, she told me everything looked fine. But then I started feeling nervous about it, and I called back a couple days later, and I said, can my doctor, I called the nurse, and I said, is my OB gonna look over my ultrasound and let me know if she thinks everything looks good, because I was told I had an implantation bleed, and I just want to make sure that there's no restrictions. I don't have to not lift anything or abstain from sex or anything like that. And she said, let me talk to her and I'll call you back. So she talked to her, and my OB said that it was a subchorionic hemorrhage, but like very minimal. She said it was super small, and that it's not anything to worry about. She said I had no restrictions and that everything was fine. I have been just doing my normal daily tasks. I lift Adeline up a lot, and I feel the strain of that on my body just in general. And I know that I probably shouldn't be picking her up, but it's hard. It's like kind of impossible to get around picking up your own kids. But I haven't had any bleeding this time. So if I do have a subchorionic hemorrhage, it hasn't started bleeding or come out yet. And she told me that if I did start to bleed, to call up there to the office, but that she said it's probably, if I do bleed, it's just the subchorionic, and she said it'll be okay. So like I said, I'll be 10 weeks tomorrow, and everything seems good, and I can't wait to get out of the first trimester because I've been super optimistic and positive, and I'm out of breath, but I think everything is gonna be okay. So my skin, with my pregnancy with Skyla, and I think also with Adeline, I started to have breakouts on my face. With this pregnancy, I have barely had any breakouts on my face. No breakouts more than my normal skin. So my skin has stayed really clear for the most part. With the girls, right away when I would shave, I would get really bad razor burn. My skin was so sensitive and would get so irritated so easily with the girls. And this time my skin has been fine. Shaving doesn't irritate my skin. I feel like pretty normal in terms of the sensitivity of my skin hasn't changed. But I did have acne on my back, like back knee, and I'm not someone who's prone to having back knee. So this is the only thing in this pregnancy that really feels that different other than the nausea. And I don't know if I was this tired with the girls. It's just, I feel like it's been so long that it's easy to forget, but back knee is the only skin issue I've had this time around. My teeth are super sensitive, and I'm excited to report that I have an appointment with a dentist, and I'm terrified because I know I'm gonna have multiple cavities and it's gonna be painful and scary and traumatizing. I hate the dentist. I'm terrified of the dentist. And then the last thing that I'll tell you guys about is that we did a sneak peek gender test or sex test for the sex of the baby to see if there's an X, if it's an X chromosomes, or is it either XX chromosomes for a girl and XY if it's a boy, I think. That probably sounds so dumb. I'm afraid I'm gonna say the wrong thing. So the test is called sneak peek. So I wasn't gonna do it because I have heard about people getting this test wrong when they do the at-home test, especially if there's men in the home. If you do it in the bathroom, it can contaminate because apparently it's very easy to pick up male DNA on these at-home tests if you even like touch anything that a man or a boy has touched, and then because it's a finger prick, and then you squeeze the blood into this tube and then you ship it in. And like, I think Brittany and Baby, she did that at home and it was wrong. Another YouTuber that someone sent me her information, she's really cute, I wish I could remember her name now, but someone sent me her information, and I watched her video, it was wrong, and they had a gender reveal party based on the results from the sneak peek test. And then I just found out that a lot of people have gotten it wrong when they do it at home. So I wasn't even gonna do the sneak peek test. I was just gonna wait for my blood test with my doctor, because you have the option to have your blood drawn to test for genetic abnormalities, and while they're doing that test, they can also see if it's a boy or a girl. So I'm planning on having that done. I had it done with my first 2 children as well, and I'm planning on doing it again. And so I was just gonna wait and have that done. But then I found out that at 9 weeks, you can do the sneak peek test. There are different places that do the 4D ultrasounds. They also have someone who can draw your blood, and they ship it overnight to sneak peek and then sneak peek test it in their labs. But they draw an actual vial of blood, so the chance of contamination is way less, and I feel like it's a higher chance of it being an accurate result. I was too afraid to do the one at home because I thought I would contaminate it. And so I figured, if I go in, have my blood drawn, and they send it off, it's not going to get contaminated. And so I go to this ultrasound place, they're drawing my blood, and I talked about this on Instagram, so sorry if I'm repeating myself to some of you. But she's drawing my blood, and I was asking the owner of the ultrasound place if they'd ever had one that was wrong by drawing blood. And she said they've never had one that was wrong except for one time whenever the woman had been pregnant with twins and lost one of the twins. The twin that she lost was a boy. And that's the only time it's been wrong. So I don't know if that is a truthful answer, because of course she wouldn't want to tell me if she had gotten a ton of them wrong, because then I'd be like, well, I'm not going to trust this then, So I don't know if she was telling me the truth. But anyway, as this is going on, I look over, and the person who just drew my blood, she's like, the cap of this, she used like a technical term and I don't remember what it was, but the blood was leaking out of the cap. And so she was like, I'm just going to put a new cap on it from like a sterile tube, like that hasn't been touched. I'm going to just put a new cap on it, and it will be fine. It will not be contaminated. And I was like, it's totally fine if you want to redo the whole process. Like, I don't want there to be any chance of contamination, so you can redo everything if you want. It won't bother me at all. And she was like, no, I'm confident. I promise you 100% it's not going to change the results. So I left feeling like, I don't know. So those results came in last night, and Tara has the results, which I'm freaking out about. But Tara has the results, and she ordered those poppers. So when she had her gender reveal, I ordered those poppers for her. So I knew what she was having way before anyone, because she wouldn't let me tell a soul, like not even her best friend. She wouldn't let me tell anybody. So I had ordered those and sent them to her, so she's doing that same thing for me. She had them overnighted. She ordered them yesterday and they've already shipped. So as soon as those poppers come in with these results from the sneak peek test, Nick and I are going to film it, and we're going to film the whole thing, but it's just going to be family. I didn't have a gender reveal with Skyla or Adeline, a party. And so, and we found out, like, first of all, with my first daughter, I found out over the phone, and then I surprised Nick. And then with my second daughter, Nick and I got the envelope, and we were in the Cowboy Chicken drive-thru line when we opened it, and we were both shocked because we thought for sure it would be a boy. I didn't film that at all because I didn't film it, but even if I did, you guys would be super underwhelmed with our reaction. And then this time, though, we are going to film doing the poppers, but I don't feel comfortable uploading the footage of this reveal until my doctor confirms what we're actually having with the test that they do at the doctor's office that I've had done twice before, that I know has been accurate 2 times before. Once I get those results back, I will share everything. So if the sneak peek test is wrong, I'll still share the video with you guys and just be like, well, we did sneak peek, but it was wrong, and this is actually what we're having. Or I'll be like, we did sneak peek, this is our reaction, and it was confirmed by my doctor. So don't worry, it will be filmed and I will share it, but I just would feel super weird if I uploaded this gender reveal with sneak peek knowing that there have been people who've had it wrong, and then I wouldn't want to have to come back and be like, well, the gender reveal was wrong, we're not actually having a girl, or we're not actually having a boy. This is what we're having. Because I feel like A, it would be confusing, B, you know, it would just, the comments, like, it's such a special moment that I just don't want, like, the comments making it more emotional or overwhelming than it already would be if we thought we were having one thing and then we weren't. So patience with that, and I will share as soon as I can, which it shouldn't be too long. That's where I'm going to end the vlog. Thank you guys so much for, not the vlog, the pregnancy update, but I'm going to show you my belly in a minute. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you guys on Monday.
All the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.